Now, there's a report from Andrew Flipponi that the Pittsburgh Steelers could potentially be interested in Daniel Jones if he does not re-sign with the Minnesota Vikings. He had this quote to say, "There's interest in former Giants QB Daniel Jones inside the Steelers organization. The Steelers could do a lot worse than Jones. There is a belief that he is a good fit for Arthur Smith's offense and Mike Tomlin's preference for a mobile quarterback." So, I mean, there was a report a week ago that the Pittsburgh Steelers were checking in on the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence's availability. And, this team is obviously trying to acquire a quarterback. They don't have one right now. They're not interested in re-signing Russell Wilson. I can't really say I blame them. So they're definitely in the quarterback market, and I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it. I think I'd rather have, I think I would rather go with Daniel Jones than Russell Wilson. But you definitely have to bring Justin Fields back as well. You can't just have Daniel Jones and draft like a rookie quarterback that could be a disastrous 4-12, 4-13 season. But I mean, I don't hate it. Just thinking about it right now, it's not terrible. I feel like Daniel Jones kind of gets a bad rap to a certain extent. Those New York Giants teams weren't really the best, but at the same time, he makes a lot of boneheaded decisions. He has a fumbling issue. And, when you have a fumbling issue and you play in a division like the AFC North where the weather is almost always a factor, and a division where the defenses are pretty good, I don't know if that's the best fit for Daniel Jones. I'd like to see Daniel Jones maybe on the Saints or something. Indoor stadium, pretty weak division for the most part. It's a lot safer of an environment there. I just think the AFC North doesn't really suit Daniel Jones that well. But it could work, maybe. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, let me know about what you think of them potentially acquiring Daniel Jones. And if whoever they do bring in as their quarterback, you definitely have to keep an eye on George Pickens, because dude is obviously a great wide receiver, but he's an issue in the locker room, and I feel like he always has these moments and always causes some drama and whatnot. So if you bring in a guy like Daniel Jones, do you really think George Pickens is going to be happy? I've seen some kind of trade speculation involved around him. I don't know if any of those are really true, but if he keeps being a hothead and if you don't really have a quarterback, he's just going to be kind of a cancer in your locker room. So, if hypothetically the Steelers traded George Pickens around draft time for a second round draft pick, or a pick or a first round pick at the bottom of the first round, I wouldn't hate it. I honestly wouldn't hate it. But let me know about what you think about Daniel Jones and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And speaking of the Vikings, if they do end up not re-signing Sam Darnold, I 100% expect Sam Darnold to be heavily interested in signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that would be probably a better fit. But then again, man, whoever goes to Pittsburgh as a free agent QB, it's not the best destination. I know you have Freiermuth, who's a decent tight end. I know you have George Pickens, but other than that, there's not really a lot of weapons. And like I said, it's the AFC North, so you really have to have a strong arm. You have to be a durable guy. Now, I know Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith probably prefer a mobile quarterback like the report stated, but I think Sam Darnold would probably do a little better in Pittsburgh than Daniel Jones. But again, it's not really I don't really think those two guys would be set up for success in Pittsburgh. And that's the thing about the Steelers, man. I really feel like they botched this offseason, even though it hasn't really begun just yet. They really should have just traded Mike Tomlin to the Cowboys or someone right after the Super Bowl, because like it's just not working anymore. It's just like a bad relationship. It's just best for both parties to just part way, because a big reason why the Steelers don't have a quarterback is because they're always one and done in the playoffs. And if you're always picking in the 20s in the first round, you're never going to have an opportunity to draft one of those top QBs. So, if I was a part of the Rooney family, I definitely would have really pushed hard for Mike Tomlin to get traded for Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy's a decent head coach, and I feel like he would have been a decent replacement in Pittsburgh. And he's from Pittsburgh as well, I believe. So I think that would have been a no-brainer move. But I don't know. Like, if I'm a Steelers fan, I definitely am not optimistic for the 2025 year. I'd be surprised if Mike Tomlin can get them to the playoffs for this upcoming year, especially with their quarterback situation. But then again, like, he is a great head coach, so anything is possible. But yeah, if you're a Steelers fan, let me know how you feel about this upcoming season. Are you optimistic? Are you just worn out with Mike Tomlin and just being one and done in the playoffs? Let me know in the comments below. I just don't see them ever making a deep playoff run again unless they get rid of Mike Tomlin and they get an actual good QB. So I don't want to say the Steelers are kind of irrelevant right now, but they've just been so mediocre like the past 10 years of just being one and done in the playoffs. It's just the same story every year, and it's such an iconic franchise. It's really just a waste, and I don't know, man. I just don't really feel very hopeful at all for that city, that team. I would just do a full-on rebuild. Like, I would trade TJ Watt. I'd trade George Pickens. You could get a lot of value for TJ Watt. You could get pretty good value for George Pickens right now. It's just not a championship roster right now, man. So, like, what are you really doing if you can't win a Super Bowl? If you're not first, you're last. So that's just kind of my philosophy of it all. But let me know if you agree with me. If you don't, I completely understand. Trading the best player on your franchise right now and TJ Watt would definitely be controversial, no doubt. But look at the Browns and Myles Garrett. They're probably going to part ways, and they might get an insane compensation for him. Definitely something to think about if you're the Steelers, in my opinion. Yeah, man, if you made this far, please subscribe, like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
Well, that time the quarterback is sacked on the third down, and that's bad. But the good thing is he did not try to force the football down the field and get the turnover. That'll be a touchback, and the ball will be placed at the 20. Phil, this quarterback matchup has been a great one today, as both have put on quite a show. Yeah, it's been a great matchup between the quarterbacks. And look, I think the league is low. The Jaguars defense brings in an extra member of the secondary. They'll go nickel. It's wide open. The Jets just picked up a big first down that time, Jim. When you're down in the second half, every first down is crucial. Nice job that time by the offense. First and 10. He climbs the ladder and has it. Howell's tackled right at the 20. That's a good job by the receiver running the drag route across the field.